You've been told since childhood, speak your truth, be open, share from the heart. Transparency builds connection. But that's a comforting illusion, one sold to you by those who benefit from your naked honesty. Manipulators encourage vulnerability because your words become their ammunition. The world applauds the performance of authenticity, but the moment you expose too much, it punishes you without mercy. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew promises are made when convenient and broken when necessary. He didn't teach human connection. He revealed the mechanics of power and control. And if you want to move through life as a strategist, not as prey, you must adopt his darker wisdom. Rule number 1, never reveal your true intentions. The world preaches honesty. Just say what you want. Just be clear about your goals. But Machiavelli would laugh at such advice. He would remind you, everyone sees what you appear to be, but few ever grasp what you truly are. Because the instant people know your destination, they begin to interfere. They measure your ambition, they plot how to use it against you. They test whether you're a rival to be eliminated. They whisper, they gossip, they build coalitions against you, long before you've even begun. Your ambition makes them insecure, and your transparency feeds their fear. So conceal your purpose. Let them speculate. Let them misread you. Let them write you off as harmless, while you quietly construct the empire they never imagined was forming right. Beneath their noses, you don't announce, I want the promotion. Instead, you shrug, I'm just here to learn. You don't declare, I'm done with this. Instead, you smile, let's see where this goes. You don't cry, I'm at war with you. Instead, you lull them into believing that peace is permanent until the moment it's too late. Because when your true goals remain invisible, your enemies have no target. They cannot block a path they cannot see. Rule number 2, never reveal your emotional weaknesses. They tell you, be authentic, be vulnerable. That's how you connect. But here's the unspoken truth. When people say that, what they really mean is, show me where to stab. Every time you confess how lonely you are, how insecure you feel, how much something has broken you inside, they don't hear sincerity. They hear opportunity. They quietly file it away. They memorize your emotional scars the same way an assassin gathers poisons, patiently, methodically, waiting for the moment when it will hurt you most. They'll nod when you share. They'll smile as if they understand. They'll play the role of the confidant. But the moment the bond breaks, or the moment they need leverage, that's when your vulnerability becomes their weapon. They won't strike your strengths. Those are hard to hit. They'll strike your confessions because you handed them the blade yourself. Machiavelli was not without feeling. He was without weakness. He understood that true vulnerability must be hidden, locked away. What can be shown is the performance of vulnerability, the illusion of fragility that disarms your opponent. But your real wounds? Those you bury in silence. If you must cry, cry alone. If you must break, do it in private. If you must scream, swallow it until it turns into steel. Control the expression, even if you cannot control the feeling. That's not dishonesty, it's defense. Because every emotion revealed is power surrendered. And power once given is rarely returned. Rule number 3, never reveal your true alliances. Loyalty feels pure. It feels noble. You think it's obvious. You want people to know who you stand with, who you trust, who your circle is. But in the realm of power, loyalty is a liability, and visibility is suicide. Machiavelli himself wrote, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver, and nothing deceives more effectively than hidden allegiances, because the moment your enemies know who you trust, they know who to pressure. They know who to bribe, who to blackmail, who to corrupt. They use your allies to triangulate your every move, to poison your inner circle, to turn your strength into a weakness. History is full of fallen empires, not destroyed by invading armies, but by betrayal from within, by alliances that were too visible, too exposed, too easily targeted. Your real loyalty should remain invisible. Keep it behind curtains, away from the public stage. In the open, be unpredictable. Be courteous to rivals. Be skeptical even of your closest allies. Be neutral in every room. Let them speculate who you truly follow. Let them whisper rumors about where your loyalty lies. Let them waste energy chasing shadows while you quietly maneuver in silence. Because in war, the deadliest weapon isn't brute strength, it's uncertainty. And there is no greater uncertainty than the man who shakes hands with everyone, smiles at everyone, yet reveals nothing about who he truly serves. Rule number 4, never reveal what truly motivates you. They'll ask you with soft voices and curious eyes, what drives you? What's your why? What gets you out of bed each morning? And if you answer honestly, you've just handed them your control panel. You say, I want to prove myself. What they hear is, you crave validation, and I can control you with silence. You say, I just want to feel loved. What they hear is, you're starving emotionally, and I can starve you into obedience. You say, I want to make my family proud. What they hear is, you can be guilt-tripped into submission. You thought you were bonding. You thought your openness would deepen respect. But in the game of power, your motivations are not inspiring stories. They are levers. And once someone knows which lever moves you, they'll pull it not for your good, but for their gain. Machiavelli never praised noble intentions. He praised results. He said, the ends justify the means, because people will use your why to sabotage your how. They'll exploit your hunger for approval to keep you tame. They'll dangle recognition to distract you from legacy. They'll create false victories to keep you trapped in their game, instead of winning your own. So what do? You offer them surface motives, harmless answers. I'm just curious. I'm exploring. I'm figuring things out. Boring, forgettable replies that reveal nothing. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, you build something that will one day tower over them, an ambition revealed only in results, never in words. By the time they discover what truly motivated you, it will be far too late for them to interfere. Rule number 5, never reveal what or who you despise. In a perfect world, being open about what disgusts you or who offends you would make people respect your values. But this isn't a perfect world. This is a battlefield of power, and in battle, your triggers are targets. You say, I hate people who ghost. Suddenly, they vanish just to watch you unravel. You say, I can't stand being ignored. Now silence becomes a weapon, a punishment. You say, I hate being lied to. From then on, every lie they tell comes wrapped in just enough plausibility to torture you without proof. Why? Because the more hatred you reveal, the more control you surrender. Your enemies don't need to overpower you. They only need to provoke you. And if they know what disgusts you, they'll press that button again and again until you dance to their rhythm. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must learn to be both beast and man, which means this: you must wear the mask of civility while keeping your inner world untouchable. You don't flinch. You don't wince. You don't react. The moment someone knows what repels you, they'll test you, not with open attacks, but with small, subtle cuts, little acts of calculated disgust, designed to erode your composure and expose your weakness. So what must you do? Train yourself in emotional neutrality. Not to be passive, but to be unreadable. Don't let them see which insults land. Don't let them sense which enemies you fear. Don't let them discover who lives rent-free in your mind. Project the illusion that nothing offends you. Pretend you have no skin at all, because the moment they know who you hate, they can redirect your energy. They can bait you into chasing justice while they quietly secure power. Rule number 6, never reveal what you're willing to sacrifice. People believe boundaries are protected by declarations. I'll never put up with that, they say. I would never quit, but in the theater of power, loud certainty is bait. The more you announce you will never walk away, the more others will push you step by step until the edge becomes the new floor. You say, I'd never leave this job. They hear permanence and respond by underpaying you with a grin. You say, I would never hurt them. They test that mercy with tiny betrayals until your tolerance is their instrument. You say, this is the most important relationship in my life. Suddenly, lateness, indifference, half-hearted devotion enter the script, and you stay. You have painted yourself non-threatening. You've declared replaceability. Machiavelli taught rulers to appear replaceable while ensuring they were not. Let others believe they can replace you, even when they can't. That illusion is your leverage. When people think they can lose you with impunity, they behave carelessly. When they believe you might leave, their greed is held in check. So flip the script. Replace promises with margins. Don't say, I'll never leave. Say, I like it here for now. Don't say, I'll do anything for this. Say, I'll do what's necessary. Within reason. These answers sound flexible and reasonable. They reveal no absolute limits and deny others a sure way to control you. This isn't cruelty, it's calculation. What you're willing to sacrifice is the last and deadliest card in negotiation. When they know that card, they won't even ask for it. They'll hollow out everything around it until sacrifice becomes the only route left, and you hand it to them yourself. In short, clarity can be a trap. People preach be transparent and say exactly what you want. Machiavelli would whisper the opposite. The architect who hands out his blueprints hands his ruin. Keep your final terms hidden. Let them bargain without knowing the price. Rule number 7. Never reveal what you truly think of yourself. This is the most dangerous confession of all, not your judgments of others, but the quiet ledger you keep of your own worth. If they know how you value yourself, they can reshape your reality. Speak doubt, even softly, and they will echo it until doubt is your default. Admit you feel unattractive, untalented, unworthy, and they will reflect those judgments back in tiny, corrosive ways. Jokes polished with smiles, backhanded compliments, strategic neglect. They don't need to beat you down. They simply mirror your smallness until it becomes your truth. And yet the opposite is perilous too. Whisper that you believe you're powerful, destined, indispensable, and you become a marked target. People resent the quiet assent. They prefer the comfortable company of confessions and cracks, vulnerability that makes them feel safer by comparison. When someone quietly claims greatness, others conspire to clip that rising edge. Machiavelli observed that people are eager to be deceived when it suits their needs, and they will collude in their own deception. Your greatest deception should be letting them think they know the measure of you. So what do you practice? The art of inscrutability. Let them wonder. Be small enough for them to digest. Humble, curious, non-threatening. Do not rehearse the masterpiece you're composing. Let them mock your apparent stagnation. Let their laughter make them complacent. Complacency paints camouflage. Act ordinary in public and extraordinary in private. Mask ambition with casualness. If they see the scaffolding, they'll tear it down. If they only see the finished building, it will be too late. Become unstoppable by appearing still. Let them assume they've sized you up and found you harmless. Meanwhile, you prepare the move they'll never see coming. You now know what never to reveal. But Machiavelli's brilliance wasn't only in concealment. It was in weaponizing silence itself. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is tension. It unsettles. It makes people guess, project, confess. In your stillness, they reveal what you never had to ask. Your silence becomes a mirror. They fill in your blanks with their fears. They imagine you know more than you do. They assign meaning to every word. You don't speak, and that's where your power begins. Because the one who speaks the least controls the emotional frame. The world is addicted to explanation. People rush to clarify, to defend, to justify. They vent, overshare, confess. But you are Machiavellian now. You have erased the need to be understood. You know the secret. Once they know how you work, they will start working you. Silence is control. Restraint is dominance. Mystery is protection. If they can't read you, they can't prepare for you. They can't trap you. They can't recruit others against you. A person fully known is a person mapped, navigable, predictable, controllable. But a person who reveals nothing becomes a myth. You don't need to be rich yet. You don't need to be the best in the room yet. You need only to be unreadable, because unreadable people are unshakable. No one knows what you want. No one knows what you fear. No one knows what would break you, because you never show them. You walk in and people sit straighter, speak slower, second-guess themselves, not because you threatened anyone, but because you revealed nothing. This is what Machiavelli meant by the appearance of virtue without the obligation to practice. It's not about being fake. It's about being strategic. In a world where everyone hunts for weakness, why would you ever broadcast yours? Now you understand what not to reveal. Here's how you operate in daylight, visible to all, known by none. Machiavelli's method was never isolation. It was infiltration. He didn't say hide outside the system. He said become the shadow inside the room. To win, move silently inside the system. Learn the rules. Smile in meetings. Laugh at their jokes. Nod at their plans, but reveal nothing real. You're not faking agreement. You're withholding allegiance. This is how it plays out. They ask, "What do you think of this person?" You answer, "Interesting. I haven't seen enough yet." They ask, "What's your next step?" You answer, "Still figuring it out." They ask, "What are you really after?" You answer, "Peace, mostly." You give them dust. You give them vague truths. You give them answers that sound like insight, but contain no leverage. Because power decays when it becomes predictable, and you are now unpredictable by design. Power doesn't always look like dominance. Sometimes it's the quiet hand that adjusts a system without being seen doing it. Let others rage. Let others correct publicly. Let others show their ego. You correct in silence. If someone disrespects you, you don't argue. You don't react. You reposition. You remove access. You slow responses. You redirect outcomes behind closed doors. That is the Machiavellian correction. No explosion, only erosion. They won't even know you did it, but they'll feel the shift. They'll feel the coldness. They'll feel the weight of a power they can't explain. People think you must dominate every battle. Machiavelli knew every visible battle costs reputation, energy, time. How do you win without noise? You outlast. You outthink. You plant doubt in your enemy's mind without ever touching them. Someone challenges you, discredits you, spreads rumors. You don't confront. You don't defend. You tighten your circle. You stop sharing. You work quietly. And one day they wake up and you're sitting in the seat they thought was theirs. You didn't fight. You replaced them, silence as your sword. Remember this, the person who must destroy others to rise is weak. The person who rises in silence becomes a legend because no one sees it coming. And what people don't see coming, they cannot stop. Your words must now do one of two things, create an illusion or conceal an intention. Every sentence serves the fog. Someone asks, "Are you trying to lead this?" You smile, "I just want to contribute where I can." Someone says, "You're different lately." You nod. Just focusing inward. These aren't lies, they're decoys. The more they interpret your language, the less energy they spend attacking your actions. You're not a ghost. You're not a wall. You're a mirror. When people can't read you, they see themselves, and that's why they fear you. That's why they respect you. You've become impossible to decode and dangerous to underestimate. Now that you've erased what weakens you, what do you replace it with? Nothing, not more information, not a better story, emptiness, because emptiness makes people fill in the blanks. And they always fill it with fear, desire, or admiration. The person who stays silent after betrayal, terrifying, because no one knows what they'll do next. The person who never explains their ambition, unstoppable, because they could be playing 5 levels deeper than anyone realizes. The person who remains neutral in drama, feared, because neutrality signals they're swayed by nothing. This is what Machiavelli mastered. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone sees what you appear to be. You experience what you really are. Perception is power, and perception is shaped not by what you reveal, but by what you withhold. That's what makes rulers, not charisma, not honesty, not likability, but the discipline to stay unreadable in a world, addicted to disclosure. When people leave your life, you owe no closure. When they betray you, you owe no explanation. When they doubt you, you owe no evidence. Let your silence be the punishment. Let your distance be the answer. Let your glow-up be the obituary. Those who violate your boundaries should not be taught. They should be denied access. This is what Machiavelli wanted you to understand. Never let someone dissect your soul after they've proven they can't protect it. Now you move differently. You no longer speak to be heard, you speak to direct. You no longer reveal what you feel. You reveal only what's useful. You no longer justify your absence. Your absence is the message. People may not say it aloud, but they'll feel it in their chest. I don't know what they're thinking, but I know not to play with them. That's what silence buys. That's what secrecy earns. That's what hiding your deepest truths creates. A psychological climate of fear and fascination. You are no longer a person they can casually define. You are a presence they must adapt to. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to be cold. You don't need to control others. You only need to control the access, what people know, what people see, what people feel entitled to. Close the gates, and the kingdom is yours again. Machiavelli's darkest rule was never cruelty. It was containment. He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers a city, and now you've conquered the urge to explain, to vent, to be known by everyone. You've left behind the version of yourself that bled. Every time someone asked what was going on inside your head, now they'll never know, because now you don't reveal. You observe, you move, you act. And when they finally understand what you are, it will be long after it's too late to stop you, because the loud ones are seen, the reckless ones are feared. But the silent ones become legends.